board delegation form, that's great. You know, I can just raise the other.
The Select Committee will come to order, and I want to welcome everyone to this Select Committee on the strategic competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party. My name is John Molinar, and as chairman of the newly reauthorized Select Committee on the CCP, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. And as we embark on what I am certain will be 2 productive years, I would like to reflect on the Select Committee's achievements in the last Congress, in no small part due to the steadfast efforts of Ranking Member Krishnamurthy. And Raja, thank you for your dedication to bipartisanship and your commitment to defending this nation against the threat posed by the CCP. This committee was born out of a vision, a belief that if Democrats and Republicans came together and spoke with one voice, they could make Washington, Wall Street, and the American people wake up to the Cold War the Chinese Communist Party is waging against America. Over the past 2 years, our committee has demonstrated how the CCP's aggression in areas like fentanyl, IP theft, transnational repression, Taiwan, and trade are all different fronts in the new Cold War. We heard from courageous individuals who survived the CCP's brutality and spoke out about it at great personal risk to themselves and their families. We urge corporate America to understand the risks of doing business in the People's Republic of China and to take action accordingly before, not after, the CCP took their investments hostage or Xi Jinping makes his move on Taiwan. We traveled across the Indo-Pacific to speak with our allies and partners in the region, forge closer ties, and work together in defense of our shared values. Most importantly, we made a real difference. Now we continue the fight. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, and the Chinese Communist Party face a critical choice: divest themselves of control of TikTok and come to the table with President Trump to negotiate a divestment that complies with the law and protects our national security, or be excluded from the American market. This progress, and the path forward can be attributed to legislation this committee developed, and the case we built over the course of more than a year outlining the threat that the CCP's control of TikTok poses to the American people. Universities across America have shuttered their Confucius Institutes and cut ties with Chinese institutions affiliated with the People's Liberation Army. Our investigations prove the fentanyl crisis is not an accident, but the inevitable consequence of deliberate PRC policy that subsidizes dangerous and illegal chemicals that have directly caused the death of hundreds of thousands of Americans. Our report has now become the basis for presidential tariffs, cited in the administration's announcement itself. Our investigations highlighted how Chinese companies like Shein and Temu use the so-called de minimis loophole to flood our markets with cheap products, often the product of slave labor, that have cost Americans their manufacturing jobs. That loophole allowed goods valued at less than $800 to enter our country with little or no oversight and no duties. The President's executive order imposing across-the-board 10% tariffs on the People's Republic of China also closed this de minimis loophole, recognizing this committee's work. There is much more bipartisan work to do in winning this competition against the Chinese Communist Party, and I look forward to building on the victories of the past 2 years in this new Congress. And I want to just say at the outset, we're very fortunate to have added a number of very qualified members, new members, to this committee, including 4 on the majority side, who I'd like to introduce now. Mr. Gus Bilirakis proudly serves the 12th District of Florida, serving in the People's House for nearly 20 years. His dedicated legislative work has resulted in 75 enacted bills since 2015. He's a senior member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee and chairs the Innovation, Data, and Commerce Subcommittee. Mr. Bilirakis also made a cameo appearance in the feature film Walt Before Mickey, a biographical film about the early years of Walt Disney. So his Hollywood credits are really going to add to this. Ms. Young Kim serves the 40th District of California, representing parts of Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. Born in Seoul, South Korea, Ms. Kim spent her adolescent years in Guam and Hawaii before attending the University of Southern California. She is the chairwoman of the House Foreign Affairs Indo-Pacific Subcommittee. And prior to her career in public service, she was a local radio and TV star, hosting LA Soul with Young Kim and Radio Soul, discussing current events and issues facing Korean Americans. I want to welcome Young Kim. Mr. Nathaniel Moran, in his second term representing the 1st District of Texas, a Texas native, his family moved to East Texas when he was 2 years old to create a Bible college. A practitioner of civil law, Mr. Moran served as a Smith County judge from 2016 until his election to the House of Representatives. He's a Texas Tech alumni and a trombone player for his church's worship team, and I'm sure he's cheering for Patrick Mahomes on Sunday. Mr. Zach Nunn hails from the 3rd District of Iowa, serving his second term as a member of the House. Mr. Nunn honorably served our country for nearly 2 decades in the United States Air Force as an airborne intelligence officer. He deployed 3 times in the Middle East after 9/11, and he also served as the director of cybersecurity at the White House's National Security Council. And these new members, welcome to all of you, and we appreciate what you're bringing to this select committee and look forward to working with you. And now I have the privilege of recognizing my good friend and ranking member, Raja Krishnamurthy, for his opening remarks. Raja?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Chairman Molinar. Thank you for the wonderful remarks, and thank you for your bipartisanship and friendship. I want to say a special welcome to all of our new members on the majority side. I did not know that about you, Gus. That is, I'm going to be asking you more about the movie credits later. I want to introduce our I want to introduce my own new members at this time. First, Jill Takuda from Hawaii, 2nd District, Aloha. She serves on the Armed Services and Agriculture Committees, where she's been a champion for rural health and as well as for our allies and partners in the Pacific. She's done a lot of work with regard to that particular area, so that's going to be of great interest to this committee as well. And then, of course, Congressman and former Mayor of Phoenix, Greg Stanton, who represents Arizona's 4th District, a state where we are seeing currently the benefits of chips and science play out in real time. He's on the Foreign Affairs and Transportation Committees as well, and he's been working a lot on the issue of fighting fentanyl addiction, as well as investing in infrastructure. And as you know, we have a fentanyl working group. I'm sure he's going to really help with that cause as well. And can we give a round of applause to all of our new members, by the way? Secondly, I just want to review how much we got accomplished last year. So I have a visual.
I'm not surprised.
We went through 18 hearings, Mr. Chairman. 18, that's pretty remarkable. We had 5 bipartisan investigatory reports. We had 3 bipartisan policy recommendation reports. And by the way, the economic report that we all worked on and came to consensus on has been quoted repeatedly over the past 2 years and has actually provided a blueprint for a lot of action that we've taken under your leadership, Mr. Chairman. We've had 2 bipartisan policy working groups. We have wonderful leaders of those working groups who've introduced legislation, and I think we should continue to pursue that and take it up with the Trump administration. And then we've written just dozens and dozens of letters, made various trips, and we've kind of urged executive action, and we've done that on a bipartisan basis, which I think has been really remarkable. I want to show you one last visual which still guides me today, and I've showed this to the committee repeatedly in the past, but it's something I think about all the time, and that's this particular visual. Look, we are in a strategic competition with the Chinese Communist Party, and the American people want us to win that strategic competition. But in a recent poll of Americans, one thing that stood out more than anything else is that almost 80% of Americans, Republicans, Democrats, independents, people of all stripes, want us to avoid open hostilities and war. Above all, they want us to win the competition, but they don't want us to go into a situation of hostilities. And the best way to do that is to increase our deterrence. We must increase our deterrence. And I know I see a lot of heads nodding in concurrence. We've talked about this repeatedly, whether it's with Mr. Whitman or Dr. Dunn or others. As we've looked at the issues, we don't have deterrence. We don't have the deterrence we need, either on a military basis, economic basis, or technological basis. And if we don't improve that deterrence, then we're going to violate that #1 clarion call mission statement that I believe the American people have assigned to us, which is win the competition, avoid war. So that, to me, Mr. Chairman, I respectfully submit under your leadership, if we could respectfully pursue, which is increase our deterrence across all domains, we'll be in good shape. And I look forward to working with the Trump administration, and the majority and all of us are willing to do whatever it takes to get to the desired outcome. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
By the way, can I just say one last thing?
Yes, sir.
I have never been given a donut and a cup of coffee by a member of the other side at the start of the hearing. That is bipartisanship in action. And I just want to say your staff and our staff is probably the best in Congress. So thank you.
No. Well said. Well said, and you know, that brings up a great point. We have assembled really a fantastic team that has collaborated together, and to me, that's been a great hallmark of this select committee, so very grateful for that. And you know, I didn't get a donut this morning, but I...
Calvin, where's Calvin?
Well, thank you for that opening statement and for working collaboratively so well together. And if any other members have an opening statement that they've prepared without objection, we'll enter those into the record. Any other statements? Okay. Well, now we'll turn to the committee business for the morning, adopting the committee rules. And the chair calls up the resolution to adopt the select committee rules for the 119th Congress, and the clerk will report the resolution.
Committee resolution number 1, adoption of the select committee rules.
Without objection, the first reading of the resolution is dispensed with, and the resolution will be open for amendment at any point. I want to thank Ranking Member Krishnamurthy for working with me on the rules in a very bipartisan manner. The rules are exactly identical to those that the committee successfully used last Congress, and I look forward to approving them again and getting back to work. Do you have any?
No, I was just going to say these rules were adopted last Congress. They've served us well. I've had people from other committees ask, why don't we have these rules on our committees? And this is exactly the model of bipartisanship that we need to practice. So I urge that everyone vote in favor again.
Do any other members wish to speak on the rules? There being no further amendments or requests for debate, the question now occurs on approving the resolution to adopt the Select Committee rules for the 119th Congress. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the resolution is approved. Any other further comments? Without objection, the staff is authorized to make technical and conforming changes to the resolution considered by the committee today, so ordered. And now the Select Committee stands adjourned.
All right, that was fast. Good.
Thanks, John.
When's our next hearing? He's already asking about it.
John, I think you beat the record.
Did I get it? All right, all right. Well, there you go.